West Bremer Radio. We don't forget who we're introducing. And now, coming up right now on West Bremer Radio at 8:14 is Jane Keogh, the journalist from the Sunday Mail.
No, not Jane, it's Harold from historyouthere.com.
Now I feel like President Joe Biden. I'm very sorry, mate. I made a gaffe there.
Good on you, Vice President Trump.
I'm so focused that you're not Jane Keogh now. Mate, now you're going to talk about Bastille Day, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's Bastille Day this weekend.
Yeah.
And, over a century ago, it actually helped start a huge tradition here in Ipswich.
Yeah, tell us all about this. Is interesting because we just spoke about Bastille with Jeremy Ryland and traditions with bread. So tell us your story.
Yeah, we've got our own tradition. Of course, as you know, Bastille Day is the national day of France, commemorating the French Revolution, or an event then, was in 1789. But that French history came to Ipswich in 1917, when the commemoration of Bastille Day was combined with Australia's Wattle Day. You see, Wattle Day, today it's actually the 1st of September that marks the first day of spring. But back then, it was very different. You see, a national Wattle Day was first officially spoken about in 1909 at a meeting of the Royal Society down in Sydney. Now, the first Wattle Day was celebrated in 1910, following the establishment of the Wattle Day League Council to celebrate Wattle Day each year. And branches sprung up, sorry for the pun, branches grew through all the other states. Now, in 1915, following the outbreak of the First World War months before, Wattle Day was in July and was used to collect money for patriotic and charitable bodies like for wounded soldiers and the Red Cross. In 1917, here in Ipswich, and of course then France has been devastated by the war in the Western Front, street collections for Wattle Day were combined with collections in support of France. And so it was on Bastille Day, on the 14th of July, 1917, that around 30 or 40 lavishly decorated motor cars lined up in Limestone Street here in Ipswich and slowly wound their way down Limestone Hill. And it attracted one of the biggest crowds seen in Ipswich for years.
Wow.
Now, one of the best floats was said to be by the fire brigade, and their engine was transformed into what was described by the paper then as a thing of beauty. Why it's beautiful, I don't know. Haven't found a photo, but it was pretty good apparently. But most impressive of all was Mr. Frank Sumner's motorbike and sidecar. You see, he made it up to look like a fairly big boat. Now, the judges of the event thought it was good enough to have won the car section if it was, he was qualified. And Sumner, you see, he was the manager of the Ipswich Gas Works and became the gas price referee for Queensland. So he actually would be useful today. But ironically, given Sumner's boat entry in the parade, he later actually died while he was on a boat. But anyway, back to the procession. Now, it finished in a storm of flowers and confetti. The newspapers reported that into that storm of confetti, the combatants entered with almost as much ferociousness as the Anzacs on the Western Front. So they're very poetic reporting it. And Ipswich's effort on behalf of the suffering French was a huge success. It was great. But let me tell you about the historic part. You see, this was the only Bastille parade and the first ever motorcar parade in Ipswich history. It was the idea of Mr. Albion Hayne. Hayne was the Ipswich town clerk and considered to be the expert accountant in town. His mother helped make the coronation dress worn by Queen Victoria. And his father-in-law was John McFarlane, the Ipswich mayor. So he's really well connected. Now, Haynes suggested that the owners of motor cars in Ipswich, they should be approached to provide the procession to show off their vehicles. He wanted it to attract a crowd and boost the monetary collections to support Wattle Day and France for Bastille Day. Now, the huge success of the day ensured that it would be repeated. And you know what, Danny? Repeated it was, which is why today Ipswich is so famous for its love of cars and for its car laps by classic and muscle cars on weekends. You've seen that. It started back then in 1917. And so to think the Ipswich laps tradition was first inspired by an accountant whose mother made Queen Victoria's dress, and it was all thanks to Bastille Day. And
boom, boom. How good is that story? Why don't the Ipswich City Council get on to stories like that and promote this? There's a lot of things started in this little city, didn't they?
Absolutely, and more respect for accountants out there too. Look at the good things they're making up.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about that. But anyhow, well, before you leave, do you follow Rugby League a bit?
Rugby League, yes, I do. Dolphins are going well now.
Well, yeah, but let me just they're arguing about Alfie being the next immortal, right?
Yeah.
Alfie played 258 games. Yeah. Andrew Johns played 249 games. Alfie, State of Origin 34. Andrew Johns, State of Origin 23. Played for Australia 24 times, Alfie. Andrew Johns 24 times. Alfie had 4 grand final wins. Andrew Johns had 2 grand final wins. Why is Andrew Johns an immortal before Alfie Langer?
Well, he's not. He's definitely an immortal in my mind. Just think of that last State of Origin game he played for a start. That
brilliant.
One game.
Come back from England.
Enough.
The place went berserk, didn't it? He came back from England and.
I'm tingling thinking about it.
Yeah, it was a great time. All right, mate. Well, how do we make contact and read that story and all the other great stories you got about Ipswich?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find history out there in all the socials, or go online to historyouthere.com.
And get out in the paddock and run around and give me a ark, ark, ark. That's what we want. Historyouthere.com. Thank you, my friend Harold H. Peacock at 821